So now we're going to go on to Kat tenbarge. So I just want to talk about Kat tenbarge for a second. So Kat tenbarge is someone that truly, truly, truly without her, first of all, I would not be here right now because I've never said this online before, but in 2020, 2021, YouTube struck down my YouTube channel because I was making videos on Shane and Jeffrey. And it was because of Kat emailing on my behalf that I ended up getting my YouTube channel back. So shout out to her. And also, I've clubbed and gone out in LA and stuff like that. And like, I've gone out with some of like the T channels and stuff, and all they do is fucking shit talk each other. And so having a rare friendship with someone like Kat is so important. So, I have a surprise. Because it's opening night, and also because she lives in New York, I have Kat fucking tenbarge, man!
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So, Kat, I think we should immediately launch into the lore, okay?
Yes.
So, Kat, oh wow, I fucking love our friendship and I love your work. And we know this, we've kikied about this, so everyone give it up for her fucking work. But everyone knows that David Dobrik is canceled right now and the Vlog Squad are canceled. So, we're gonna move on with the lore and go to David and the Vlog Squad. So, Kat, talk about the article when you broke the fucking 2 years ago with the Ethan, Trisha, Jeff, fucking everything. Talk about that article.
Muckers, thank you so much. Okay, so let me set the scene. So back in early 2021, Frenemies was at like the peak of its existence. And Ethan and Trisha were talking about the Vlog Squad nonstop. Now, simultaneously, I had been investigating the Vlog Squad, and I interviewed this woman who had these really serious sexual assault allegations that took place while she was filming a video with the Vlog Squad in 2018. And so, interestingly enough, Trisha Paytas was one of the people who was at the filming of that video that night. So I reached out to Trisha and Ethan, and I was like, you guys are covering this, you guys are talking about Business Insider's coverage, I could really use your help in getting this story published. And I ended up interviewing Trisha, and it was actually through Trisha's corroboration of what happened that night that the story was able to be published. And the day that the story was published, Trisha and Ethan actually like announced the story and started talking about the story on Frenemies live. As we were going through like the editing process, as we were going through the legal process, and so we had to scramble to put this story up. I actually had to DM Deaf Noodles. I had to DM him and be like, please don't post pictures from that vlog. But so the story came out, and it exceeded everyone who was involved. It exceeded all of our wildest expectations, in part because of the platform that Frenemies had. The story really took off. It was read by millions of people. It led to a lot of really big things happening to David. He lost like this company that he had been working on at the time, and
Oh, they love that. They love that.
R.I.P. Dispo. And so, you know, within a few days of the story coming out, I got a call from Jeff Wittek. So Jeff Wittek called me, and for context, the only other person who was there that night was Jeff Wittek, who had spoken to me before the story came out, was Jeff Wittek. And he had corroborated some details, but after the story came out, he was really mad. And he called me and he was like, Kat, like, you ruined all of our lives. Like, do you feel bad? And I was like, not really.
Give it up!
And so I went to bed that night. I woke up the next morning and the internet was like at my fucking throat. And what had happened was, without my knowledge, Jeff recorded that phone call. He edited it. He spliced it together. He put it on YouTube and he was like, everyone attack this woman. And I will say, It was drama. I will say, at the time, we did not know that
Everything going on with Jeff Wittek, which we do not know for context.
We did not know that Jeff Wittek had brain damage as a result of, something that we'll talk about later in the show. But, so we didn't know all of this context, but Ethan and Trisha, again, reached out to me. They had Jeff come on to Frenemies Live. And actually, behind the scenes, I talked to Ethan, and he was like, do you have any evidence that Jeff was at the apartment that night? Now, the victim who I had spoken to for the story had sent me all of these photos that had not made it into the story itself. One of them, if you remember, if you were watching this episode of Frenemies, Jeff comes on, and he's like, I wasn't there. I don't know anything about it. And Ethan's like, well, then what was this? Yes. And he puts up that photo. Jeff is in the photo. The victim is in the photo. It was crazy.
Yeah, so what I want to talk about with Kat is we've talked about on the YouTube channel the Casey and David, documentary, which didn't come out. What you don't fucking know is, well, what is this?
Okay. So, everything starts to die down from the David Dobrik story, and then I get this DM on Twitter from none other than Casey Neistat. And
the boos are crazy.
And he's like, Kat, I've been making a documentary about David for the past several years. The documentary is done, but I read your article, and I basically want to remake the documentary. And I was like, okay. So I went to his studio, which is in New York. It's in Soho. And we filmed all day. He interviewed me for hours.
Was he going around on the penny board? Have you seen him, the penny board and the glasses? Yes, Diva.
We went out of the studio into the subway, and he was filming clips of me. And because he was wearing the glasses, people were coming up to him. They were taking photos of him.
The Getty Images. Wait, clock the Getty Images. Okay, Diva.
It was surreal. And so a few months after that, they invite me to the premiere of the David Dobrik documentary, which is at a film festival called South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. And so that's where this photo was taken. And this was right after the documentary premiered. Casey was incredibly kind. He had everyone in the crowd give me a standing ovation for my reporting. And then we were chatting afterwards, which is when this photo was taken.
So I guess my question is, why do you think that the article didn't come out? Because we've talked about it, we've kikied about it. And then also, Kat's in a new era, which we're going to talk about right now as well. So we've talked about lawyers and stuff like that. So why do you think the article didn't come out and then tell us about the new fucking era, mama?
Okay. So, when I saw this documentary, it was incredible. And I was eagerly waiting for it to drop on Netflix or to drop on some streaming service. And it basically just never came out. And Casey has gone on podcasts. He's talked to Jeff about this in recent months. To this day, I still don't know why the documentary never came out. But what I do know is when I was working on that story, I had to go back and forth, as I often do, with this celebrity lawyer, similar to Andrew Brettler, David's lawyer, who's a different guy, but this person is known for being able to silence victims and kill stories related to his clients. And I always wondered if that could have something to do with why the documentary didn't come out. But speaking of killing stories, so in terms of my new era.
Come on for a rebrand.
So let me just say, the only reason I have been able to report on these topics and tell these stories and get an audience for these stories is because of people like you. It's because of the muckers, it's because of this audience, it's because of the people who care about this subject matter and care about the truth coming to light. Now, in the mainstream media, there is not a lot of recognition for this type of subject matter. There isn't a lot of importance placed on these very influential figures. So, fast forward to a few weeks ago, I found out that I was getting laid off from my job.
Fuck the mainstream!
And so, I decided to do something that I have been wanting to do for a very, very, very long time, which is I decided to go independent. And Adam has very graciously, had me come on and be able to promote this to you guys. So at the end of this month, I'm launching Spitfire News, which is...
And she's on her own. So get your fucking phones out and scan that QR code, you fucking bitches. Oh, you've got it already? Get it. Oh, the bitches got it. Please, it's free. Go subscribe. She's on her own. She's done so much fucking work that I wouldn't have half this fucking PowerPoint without this diva right here. So everyone, please give it up for this fucking diva!
Thank you so much. 2 of the first topics will include David Dobrik's lawyer. Also, this very tour.
She's covering the tour, mamas.
And you guys, I printed out like 2,000 business cards for this, so please come see me after the show and get one of them.
Please. Okay, everyone, please give it up for fucking Kat Tenbarge!